past the red and white striped flag and through the black gate ready, or so I thought, for the first day of swim practice. I was dressed in my blue two-piece bathing suit, and to my surprise, everyone was in red one-pieces. The team was monotonously swimming laps back and forth with tight swim caps and goggles suctioned around their eyes. I knew I didn't want to do that. After denying the try-its and you might like it's, I noticed a diving practice going on the other side of the pool. Kids were jumping off the 1-meter board, doing front dives, front flips, back flips, and twisting dives. I practiced the basics for a while. I learned how to take 4 steps, raise my knee, and circle my arms when doing a forward dive, and how to stand with just my toes on the edge of the board, bounce 3 times, and circle my arms on the 3rd bounce when doing a backwards dive. The more dives I learned, the more determined I was to do harder ones. I was mastering dives and wanted to move on to something more impressive. I was set on doing a back 1.5. My coaches were usually encouraging and supportive, but when it came to this dive, they nicely tried to tell me that I wouldn't be able to do it. That's a hard dive. We didn't get that until we were a few years older, they told me. This only made me more determined to do it. I positioned myself on the light green board, only my toes hanging onto the rough black edge and my heels lightly bouncing the board. I bounced twice with my arms at my side. On the 3rd bounce, I bent my knees, swung my arms in a circle. I flew upwards and threw my body back, pulling my knees into my chin as tightly as I could. My eyes focused on the water. I straightened my arms, holding my hands together, tightened my stomach, and extended my legs with pointed toes. I failed completely. I could feel my back getting red, stinging from my calves to shoulders. I continued to under-rotate, coming out of my dive too early, and over-rotate, landing in the water in a ball. Until I finally heard something that was rarely said. Perfect. Warm-ups. I lightly bounced on the edge of the diving board as my coach told me to do a backflip, keeping my body straight. I had never done this before, but figured it wouldn't be much different from a normal backflip. Besides, I thought to myself, this dive will help prepare me for the back 1.5 later in the meet. I wanted to do the dive well to prove to my coaches that they had underestimated me. I lined up on the edge of the board, focused my eyes on the opposite end, and jumped. But this time, I didn't jump back far enough. I threw myself backwards, keeping my body straight, and rotated through a full flip, but I was too close to the board. As I was about to hit the water with my feet, my nose and mouth slammed into the board. I sunk into the water and stayed there for a few seconds, letting the water surround me. I was frozen in a state of shock. When I emerged from the water, there was dead silence. I saw dropped jaws, people's hands covering their mouths, and widened eyes just staring at me. As I sat holding a towel and ice to my face, I watched my teammates doing their dives. I got back on the board, my stomach turning and my mind going back and forth between whether I actually wanted to do this or not. Fear was painted across my face. You can do this, Victoria. You've done this dive perfectly a million times. Don't think about it, just go, I told myself. My routine took over. The familiarity of it wiped away my fear, and I just focused on doing the dive. Funny is, even though I struggled at times with the sport, I don't remember those times. I only remember the good experiences I had while doing it. I miss it now. I miss it when I go to swim meets from my friends. I miss it when I run into my old coaches. I miss it when I go to my club and see the younger kids learning how to dive. I miss it when I smell chlorine.